Today we'll be talking about how you can make real estate investing truly passive. Because let's face it, sometimes investing seems like anything but passive. I am Hannah Escher. I'm a rookie investor and mortgage advisor with 2 properties, and I'm so excited to be speaking with you about this topic today. So what does passive really mean when it comes to real estate investing? For many, passive can have different definitions. Some people, especially in real estate investing, think of passive as not having to do anything, not lifting a finger, and seeing the results come in. When we're thinking of that phrase, passive income, we're thinking the money's coming in and I'm sitting there on a beach in my chair and I'm just receiving, right? However, creating a business that has an actual passive flow means you have to have processes. And sometimes when you're thinking about creating passive income or passive investments, you also have to think about, is it worth it? So we're going to dive into all of that right now. Let's talk about what it looks like to have your real estate investing be more passive in nature. Well, first of all, when you're thinking about scaling your real estate portfolio, there is going to have to be some type of passivity involved because there's only 24 hours in a day, right? And you can only do a certain amount of work within those hours. So in order for scaling to happen and be possible, there has to be processes put in place that allow you to spend less time over here so you have more time over here. When we're looking at creating something passive, we're also thinking about how can I create a process that's going to help my tasks be efficient. And in many people's real estate portfolios, that can look different, right? Maybe it's using softwares to help streamline a process. Maybe it's using a property manager to be as hands-off as possible. Whatever you end up choosing is going to have to be personal to your situation and what you feel is going to help you be more efficient in the long run. Now, when we think of passive, we also have to remember that making a process that creates a passive portfolio also means we're giving up less control because we can't be involved in every single nitty-gritty detail and also at the same time be passively sitting on our beach chair and reaping the benefits while we're relaxing, right? So when we're looking at something being more passive, we're also understanding that it means we're giving up more control. And this is Economics 101, opportunity cost, right? So when we're looking at the opportunity, we also have to realize what the cost is for the outcome that we want. Now, for many people in their portfolio, this could look like a property manager, or maybe it looks like investing in a group real estate effort, like a real estate investment trust, or some other entity like that where you're not going to have to be doing all of the upfront work and you're not going to be the person having to be in contact with your tenants at all times. Another thing that's popular if you're looking for less legwork and less time investment in a property is looking at turnkey properties and looking at properties that are going to take less of your time investment initially so that it also takes less of your maintenance time down the road. When we're looking at properties that are older, that need more maintenance, that need more repair, that's going to continue to happen. So if you're looking at building a real estate portfolio that you really want to act as a more passive investment, all of these things are things that you can consider when you're making that decision. For example, I have a property manager managing my investment property. And one of the reasons for that is because I want this investment at this time to be more of a passive investment. I'd like to have less involvement with the tenants. I would like to have more of my time to do other things than fulfilling tenant requests. Now, with that being said, I also have to accept that the things I'm asking my property manager to do may not get done as quickly as I could do them myself. And I also have to accept that my communication is going through a third party. In my own experience, I've learned it's very important to communicate very, very clearly if you're using that third party in order to create a more passive investment. Now, the nice thing when you're using a property property manager is that you can also choose to not renew that contract with them. So you can also decide to do that. Maybe you want your investments to be a little bit more passive because other areas in your life are really busy. And then later on, when you have more time, you can decide if you'd like to take some of that control back or not. And that leads us perfectly to talking about the pros and cons of having a passive investment versus being more invested yourself in the process of how that investment works. So let's take a property manager, for instance. There are fees involved. You're going through a third party. You have less control. Those are some of the cons that you will experience. Also, if you're investing in any type of real estate group or a real estate investment trust, right? You don't have that control. Someone else has the control, and you're putting your faith in that person or in that entity that they are going to carry out your wishes and that your end goal is still going to be achieved. The pros are obviously that it is time saving. When you have a passive investment, it gives you more time to do other things, whether that be spending time with family or whether that be looking into other great investment opportunities. It also allows you to diversify more easily, because if your time and resources aren't all being used over here for this investment and you can have it passively working for you, then you can use time and resources on other things in your portfolio. So how do we do this? How do we start investing passively to where we are allowing ourselves time and creating additional time while still having an investment property work for us? One of the ways to do it is to start small. Start with something that you know you can handle. Of course, there's very glamorous, big real estate deals out there, and for some of us, that's going to be the perfect starting point. But for some of us, starting smaller, maybe a single family home, something we can own or occupy, that might be the perfect place for us to start. Next, opt for properties that can have a long-term growth trajectory and also have low maintenance costs over time. Now, this is something that can also be unpredictable. We can't predict what's going to happen to a house. We can't predict what extreme weather conditions are going to be. However, you can look at specific locations. You can look at the condition of the house, look at the inspection reports when you're purchasing a property to identify, hey, am I going to have to replace this roof in 2 years? Or am I going to have to replace this roof in 30 years? And there are properties out there where that is the case. So look at those reports, opt for properties that are going to stay in good condition for a longer period of time based off of the knowledge that you have. And lastly, and this is my favorite one, put systems in place from the very, very beginning. And let me tell you, if you put systems in place at first, it's going to be a lot easier to keep scaling moving forward versus having to work backwards once you have 5-10 properties and now you're just looking at putting those systems in place. There's going to be a lot of double work you're going to have to do at that point versus if you get those systems in place right now with that very first property, it doesn't matter how big or small, get those systems working for you and you will start reaping the benefits of that passive investment lifestyle. As we're talking about passive investment, I think it's really important to remember that if you're investing in real estate, this is also a business. You're investing in your business. And just as you wouldn't put a multi-million-dollar business on autopilot and never check in on it, the same concept applies to passive real estate investing. Real estate investing can be passive, and it can be passive to a point. There still needs to be checks and balances. You still have to be updating systems, but know that the more systems and processes you have in place, the closer you'll get to that passive real estate investment portfolio. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this topic and I hope it inspires you to start working on some processes and to even jump into real estate investing if you're still wondering if it's right for you. I'm Hannah Escher. You can search my name on BiggerPockets. If you found this video helpful, like and subscribe to the BiggerPockets Rookie channel for more videos just like this.